Marco Mazzarino. I'm a professor of transport logistics, supply chain management at the University of Venice, UAV, and also I'm a head of international project at VIU, Venice International University. On top of that, I'm also a co-founder of a new university spin-off dealing with innovation in supply chain, which is named Best Ever Supply Chain.
My name is Johann Andersen. I'm a professor in civil engineering at Stellenbosch University. I work in the field of traffic and transportation, and I also head up the Smart Mobility Laboratory at the university.
So I'm Vittorio Marzano, full professor in transport engineering with University of Naples, Federico in Italy. I used to work also as a researcher in Singapore, UK, and States, and prior to joining academia, I worked as a consultant in freight logistics and in general in transport engineering for many public and private bodies in Italy and worldwide.
Yeah, activity of summer school stretches over an entire week, let's say 5 days of different kind of lectures, 9 to 5 as a general schedule, including site visits, a number of site visits. I think that the major goal of this summer school, because it's very important to underline this, it's about innovation in this industry, in the supply chain and transportation and logistics, because innovation is a rather key word nowadays in this industry. But more importantly, one of the regional and peculiar aspects of our summer school is to try to address the issue of innovation in a rather comprehensive way, putting together both the public and the private sector, so to speak. So the main goal, to cut a long story short, is how innovation could support both business and policy making in this very particular innovative industry.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like also to say that activities include a lot of topics that will be covered during the week and under the great umbrella that Marco was describing just a few seconds before. And actually, so I'd like also to stress that the activities of the summer school actually cover two very different viewpoints. One is the viewpoint of the private sector that works in logistics and transportation, offering and demanding logistics and transportation services. And on the other side, also there's the viewpoint of the public sector that has to regulate, promote, and express governance of logistics and transportation. And we thought together with Mark at the very beginning of conceiving the summer school that a great idea could be to have those two viewpoints together. And this is probably one of the greatest added values of the summer school and of the way activities are carried out, taking into account both those very important viewpoints.
From my perspective, I think also what makes it quite unique is that although we have a number of diverse theoretical topics that we address, as Vittorio has alluded to, which contributes to the overall content. I think the richness of the summer school also lies within the fact that we have really a diverse background of attendees and people also with different applications environment. And I think that goes for both lecturers and then also the attendees. So I think that really sort of adds to a certain extent, I think, to the overall offering.
So basically, if you go through the weekly program of the summer school, basically the topics are very various in terms of content. So we start from planning and policy making, and so challenges and with a particular view on the governance of sustainability and of innovation and technologies. Then there's an important focus about global supply chain under uncertainty, which is a very fundamental topic nowadays. And then we cover maritime transport, we cover rail transport, we cover also innovation in logistics planning and also in robotics for warehouses. So we cover basically all aspects of logistics. Obviously, there's just 1 week for some school, but basically the idea is that each topic is covered by letting attendants to understand two important points. One is interdisciplinarity. So actually each topic is covered in a way that different disciplines talk about the same topic. And that's very important to establish a common language from people, as Johann was saying, that come from different backgrounds. So, setting common knowledge is very beneficial for attendants. And the other very important point, is that we basically provide tools to how to cope with uncertainty and with the exponential change of the speed of the transition in terms of technological transition, digital transition, so on and so forth. So again, topics are very wide, yet very keen on keywords of the summer school.
If I can maybe just say, since we're offering the summer school in South Africa, I think we'll reflect just a little bit more on some of the particular challenges in South Africa as well, and see how best practice in Italy and elsewhere could also then be applied, within the South African environment. So some of the lectures will actually provide some insight in that regard. I must say I'm also quite excited. I mean, Marco, you've been talking about innovation and technology, data, and we are also offering a hands-on session where we are specifically looking at the use of floating card data. So there's a lab session where we'll be looking at some specific applications that also can then be considered within the larger sort of freight movement environment. If we can maybe just say something about the site visits, I think the idea is to give some exposure also to some of the, sort of a major traffic management center, which basically, I think is really sort of a state-of-the-art facility in the sense that it brings together different modes of transport, road, rail, and so forth, to give some exposure to that to all the attendees. And then the plan is then to also visit the port of Cape Town.
Okay, I would say the following is very important. First of all, as already been said, that we have a very mixed faculty on one hand and a very mixed kind of attendees on the other hand. This is a very strategic decision we made since the beginning, to put together both professional experts, consultants on one hand, and academia on the other hand, scientists, researchers, and so on and so forth. So the mix of the two, it's very important in order also to get a very important outcome for the participants as a whole, I would say, because at the end of the day, or maybe at the end of the week, I would say, we hope that the participants will be provided with an overall toolbox, okay, in which they will be equipped somehow with a number of tools to deal with the innovation in this industry, in the professional world rather than the scientific world as a whole. So to summarize, what we expect to provide to students range from scenarios and trends, strategic scenarios, strategic trends, and so on and so forth, modeling tools, methods, principles, concepts, innovative policy making, business case and case studies, including obviously site visit. A strong emphasis will be put on the technological tools, as already Johann has mentioned, including IT solution, IT technologies, and also innovative business models in terms, for instance, how to offer innovative services in the logistics rather than the transportation industry.
If I can draw upon, actually one of the probably nice outcomes that students usually gather from this summer school, after 3 years we can in a way confirm this, is that, formally it starts with frontal teaching. So it's like, lectern and you start with presenting topics and discussing. But I would say every lecture slot, after a few minutes, there's already, ongoing discussions, brainstorming in the context of the teaching hours. And that's probably very beneficial for attendance, because one of the other, let's say, soft skill that they tend to acquire in terms of outcome is the capability of interacting with, people from very diverse background, again, from, as Marco was mentioning, not every day you have at the same table researchers and practitioners, and then, I mean, finding compromises and, you know, common objectives is also very important in this topic. And another very, I guess, nice outcome is that given the general toolbox that Marco was mentioning, the fact that attendants usually come from a variety of different countries, it also, you know, makes another, you know, level of knowledge for the attendants themselves, because they understand how, you know, the general concepts and tools are turned into practice in different countries, in different contexts. And this could also, you know, lead to ideas and to anticipate problems that could occur and so on and so forth. So that's not probably interesting outcome that makes this summer school in a way unique with respect to other summer schools that are available in this field.
To add to that, Vittorio, I think the building connections, you know, with the participants for future collaboration and networking, you know, from complete diverse background, I think that's also very beneficial. And I think what really is something that really struck me, you know, after, you know, attending or being part of this for 3 years now, is that in a sense, it also creates better awareness of some of the global challenges in this field, you know, of transport and logistics. Maybe just a last point on a, you know, expected outcome is the fact that, you know, if you travel to Europe, you experience, you know, that then you experience, you know, a whole new different environment. With the summer school being in Stellenbosch, we hope also that it will be an enriching experience, you know, to participants from Europe and elsewhere, just to reflect a little bit on, you know, the local university town, lovely food, good wine, but all in all, I think having a very positive experience to all participants.
If I can start, actually, so the idea was actually, because I mean, me and Marco, we have been working together for years, and again, we come from very different backgrounds. So we you know, we deal with the same topic, but from really very different viewpoints. And every time we had discussions together in you know, in consulting and working together in research programs, I mean, at least for myself, I mean, I was really enriched by communicating and by discussing my topics to a person from a very different background. So the idea was, why don't we try to enlarge this type of experience and try to design something where, you know, more students, so it's like we are going to teach something, but at the same time, we also learn together by discussing and by, you know, covering those topics. So I would say one of the inspiring motivation was to share knowledge in a very interdisciplinary way, and, you know, and also from people that have very different, you know, working positions. So that was one of the inspiring topics. And I mean, if you look around, you see a lot of, you know, summer school in freight logistics, but mostly are all very, you know, keen on research or very keen on practice. There's nothing in the middle, and I mean, we have experience of both, and we thought that really this type of offer fills a gap. And I would say after 3 years that a lot of students appreciate it, so we can say it's a success story at the moment. So Mark, I don't know if you agree or you have something to add about that.
I fully agree with you, Vittorio. Absolutely. Okay. As you stressed, the first point is the multidisciplinary approach. They say this is very, because transportation, logistics, supply chain is by definition a multidisciplinary discipline, so to speak. At the end, but on the other hand, it is taught at the university, for instance, in different departments, so to speak. You have engineering, you have geography, you have economics, and so on and so forth. You have also let's say computer science, so to speak. So it's very important to integrate this approach. On the other hand, as Vittorio correctly said, it is also important to integrate also the professional world, the business side, the experts, manager, consultants, so on and so forth. Because usually is as once again Vittorio said, you you can find a lot of conference, summer schools or whatever, very, very specific on the, let's say, on the specific disciplines or about involving only professionals and so on and so forth. So it's very important to integrate and to have a comprehensive approach to all of this. On top of this, let's remember, as I mentioned previously, that we are dealing with absolutely innovative topics. You have a tremendous challenge, tremendous dynamics, tremendous trends going on this time in this environment. We are not talking about something very stable environment, so to speak, in our discipline. So it's very important to understand, to analyze it, and also to design how to deal with these new trends, new challenges, new scenarios in these fields. And this is one additional added value that why we discuss and why we decide in the early day to promote these summer schools. No, maybe just a few words, but it already been said about within the overall approach that we put together also theory and practice, as also Vittorio, Johann has already said. So we propose a theoretical but also empirical approach to deal with all these topics. This is very important. The mix of the whole stuff is very important in this summer school. The integrated approach, a comprehensive approach, and so on and so forth. And also, maybe the last word would be that we address also different geographical scale. We address these issues as a more local level, let's say the urban level, because the urban context environment is pretty much important nowadays. As we also know, we talk about last mile logistics and something in Amazon and something like that, but also regional, national, and most importantly also the global level, the global scale, geographical scale, the international trade, international transport, international logistics, and so on and so forth. So it's very important also to highlight these different geographical scales that we address in the summer schools. Also the port environment, particularly the maritime transport, and so on.
Nothing but we are eager to meet you in Stellenbosch for the summer school.
Sure.
Yeah, we're looking forward to sharing some South African hospitality.